Hello and welcome to the OMC video blog number 7. My name is Garv, and today I'm just going to talk about some stuff. You know, originally I had this thing that I was going to do. I planned out I was going to do a episode about combat, because that's one of the things that's been bothering me for the last, 2 years, 3. And I solved it. But I was going to do a whole video on it. But, the more I thought about it, I thought, is that even worth having a whole video on? Especially if I wasn't going to show, what was going on with that. I didn't think it really made for its own video. So I thought, why even bother with that? Because, there's no point in talking about the advances I made without showing them to you. So I'll talk about a little bit, but and so I thought maybe I'll just kind of give a general idea of kind of where we're going and what's going on and how things are rolling out and stuff. And I'm just going to start off by saying, damn, I feel pretty good. I mean, outside of the social problems that we have going on right now, and I believe that is a major, major thing. But it makes me feel good because for a long time, I feel like people just really haven't talked about things. And so you got people sweeping under the rug, like it's not that big of a deal. All right, so some black folks got killed. Hey, they deserved it, that kind of thing. And it was tiring, but I think now it's good to see that people from all walks of life all over the world are realizing that, maybe there actually is a problem. Maybe there is a problem and we need to do something about it. And so that makes me feel pretty good that there are actually people stopping to go, whoa, wait a minute. We're going to do something. I mean, unfortunately, it took quite a few videos of watching black folks get killed on screen in order to get people to really stop and do something, but at least they're going to do something. And so to that, I say thank you, because I feel like that's that's a conversation we've needed to have for a long time. And I am a full believer that Black Lives Matter and all that. So I am 100% behind that. And I believe that if we are to live as a country that values equality and values freedom, then we would be hypocrites not to do something about it. And so, I hope that something actually gets done. So that makes me feel pretty good. And even though it's been a few weeks since the whole situation went down, I'm encouraged to see that it hasn't died down in all of, it hasn't gone away, I should say, in all that time. And so, that makes me feel pretty good. And then, as far as my own project goes, I feel like it's been kicking my butt for a long time. There are 4 or 5 problems. To be honest, I'm going to break this down in a small way. One of the main reasons why I have not showed the game in a long time is, at least in action, is because I've been struggling with combat for a long time. There are a number of reasons for this. The biggest one being my feeling or my understanding of how Unity works underneath the surface, and what I was trying to do, and the many ways I was trying to do that thing. And then come to find out that, Unity itself just isn't going to let that happen the way I want it to. There are all these little things, and I'm pretty sure the problem would be the same even if I was using Unreal or whatever. It's just that my thought process for how the combat was going to work, I think, was flawed. But it's one of those things that if you start with a flawed idea, but you're hell-bent on making that idea work, and therefore you don't even entertain the idea that maybe you're wrong and maybe you need to look at something else. And that was my biggest problem is I never thought that, it was wrong. And even today, I still don't feel like it was wrong, but I do feel like that what I was trying to do, it needed to go in order to do something that worked. And I happened to run across some videos on YouTube that just made me think, wow, I didn't even think of doing that. But once I implemented that, my combat was fixed. I mean, it's amazing. So now I don't feel bad showing any combat stuff. So maybe in the future I'll start showing more of the stuff. The other problem I had is that there were a few issues with the way conversation was working. Mostly UI, but it was something that bothered me for a long time. I couldn't get it fixed. Since last year, I've been struggling with that thing. Luckily for me, there's a lot of other things in the game that needed to be done, so I could put it off and go work on something else. But this time, I've made a point, especially recently. I made a point to take every week, take a piece of the game or some idea, some particular thing, and that week will be dedicated to getting whatever that thing is working, or done, or finished, or whatever. Like, for example, if I want to write a story, I want to finish chapter something, then that week is going to be finishing chapter whatever. So I'm just going to work on finishing that, and that's the goal for the week. So after rewriting combat 5 times and finally cracking that code, which I felt pretty good about, next was to solve the problems with dealing with conversation issues and UI issues and stuff like that. And I'm not going to lie to you, the thing that I hate the most are UI things. I hate messing with the UI. I hate writing UI code. I hate designing it. I just hate it. I hate it. And I know it sounds bad coming from a programmer because that's what we're supposed to do, but it's one of those things that you have to think about every little possibility. If the player clicks off of the window at this time, then what do you do? You got to deal with, I want to grab that window and drag it up, mouse inputs, controllers. There's just so many things that go into making the UI. I have a lot of respect for people who do UI work. UI work, I think, is probably some of the most demanding programming you can do. Some of the most tedious, for sure. Yeah, I don't like it at all. So yeah, I always put UI stuff off because I just don't want to do it. And so yeah, being able to get my head around this is what I'm gonna do this week. That's what it did. I decided I was gonna solve my conversation UI problems. And guess what? I did! Woo! Hey! Yay! Woo! 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 Yeah! So now conversation works. So what does that mean long term? Well, it means I can finally show the GUI stuff. I can show the game. I feel like now I can do it. I couldn't do it before. There's all these little janky little things. And they all suck. And so, you're trying to show... hey, look, check out this cool thing that I'm working on, and then, some silly thing happens, and, then that just totally breaks everything, especially when you're trying to show people what you're doing. And I think most people understand that games in development are all janky. Like, they're all janky until you get them, until they're released. And I mean, of course, these days, even then, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're not. But the general idea and the general way it works is your games are janky until you get them finished. You're still working on them. So all those little tweaky things that you need to do, those tend to come last. So, yeah, there's still a lot of things that need to be tweaked and moved. All those little dials that need to be moved and touched and stuff. But that's okay. I mean, I think the game itself has come along. And, yeah, I'm pretty happy with how it all worked out. The thing is, when I think about it, I think I put a lot of time into working on things, but the thing about it is sometimes you don't see the fruit of your labor for a long time. But I mean, that's creating anything, I guess. And so, yeah, when you finally see it all come together, it's amazing. Like, when I'm looking at my game, like now, it's funny because I'm looking at my game now, and I look at it and go, man, it's really different than what it used to be, like it's different. And so, yeah, I'm happy. And so, yeah, that's another one of those things that I'm happy. But now the problem I have is, what do I do next? I mean, there's still a whole list. Like, I have a list of things that need to get done, and every time something comes up, I add to the list. So that list is ever growing. But the thing is, I look at it and go, I don't think I've put a real dent in that list in all the years that I've used it. I don't think I've ever put a dent in it. But it's interesting to see the things that aren't on the list anymore and the things that are still there, which have been there forever. So there's all these little things. And so I'm happy with looking at that and going, wow, I've made some progress. But now I have to look at the list and go, well, if I have these weekly goals, like I'm going to work on X this week, that's going to be the only thing I'm going to work on, then I have to decide what the next thing is going to be. And to be honest, I don't know. I mean, that's the funny thing. I don't know. I mean, the three biggest things that were kicking my ass, like I solved them. Yeah, that was, that's the other thing. Like, I think before I wrap this up, the other thing that I solved was AI. The thing is, originally, long time ago, when I first started working on the game, I never really thought about how AI was going to work. All the videos that you see, like the videos that we did originally with AI, they were hacked together. I mean, I'll be honest, like, we hacked it together in order to get it to look like something. Yes, they could attack you, the enemies could attack you and kill you, and you can kill them and all that stuff. But they were hacked together, like, they would, like there were parts where the enemy would just run around in a circle. And then if you walked into their general area, then they would turn around and then chase you. But I could never get them to just stand still. Like, they couldn't just stand there. If I ever wanted to get them to stand there, I'd have to remove the code, and then they would just stand there. And then I could film something, and then I had to put it back. And that was a real pain in the ass, and that's why, like, a lot of the early videos, when you look at them, they're janky, but, there's a reason why. The AI system was never anything. And I ended up getting one from the Unity store. But in the many years that we've been working on this, they went out. That product is gone now. And actually, I'm glad it's gone because it was a real pain in the ass to use. I hated using it. That was another reason. Trying to get it to fit in my code was a real pain in the butt. one of the things about writing my own code is that I feel like I like things to fit in these nice little pockets. I like modular code. I think things should just easily be able to snap in. You got this thing that should just bolt on top, and if you're ready to remove it, you just remove it, and then whatever calls you need to that, you can just remove them, and it's gone. Like, you don't need to mess with it anymore. I like modularity. I think it makes it a lot easier to reuse code later, but it also allows you to make sure things are a lot more streamlined going forward. But, a lot of people don't write their code that way. And so when I get things, I just want them to bolt in. I just want them to do that. And this particular AI system did not. So if I wanted to use it in the game, which I did at some point, then I'd have to rewrite whole sections of code in order to get it to bolt onto that thing. And don't get me wrong, AI systems require a lot of like these little dials that you need to deal with, but I like the idea that you can just send a call somewhere and it'll do its thing and then give you something back. So, I like that idea. That way you're not fighting that system to get it to do the things that you want it to do. It'll just do its thing and then give you something back. And so you don't need to worry about it. So I end up looking at Unity had these, and I recommend you do this if you get a chance. I don't know when it's going to be over, but they have these classes that you can take. They're online classes that you can watch. Normally they cost, but because of the whole COVID thing, like they allowed those things to be available for free. So I thought, well, I'm going to go brush up on my Unity. So I go and check out some stuff, and they did this wonderful AI system that is top notch, and I liked it so much that I wrote it for my own code, and now my AI does whatever the hell I tell it to do. If I want to get my AI to stand right there, then it will. If I want my AI to run around, then it will. I could get it to patrol and all kinds of stuff, and that was like a huge breakthrough for my game. And now I can make enemies or just NPCs walking around, going home, eating stuff. All that stuff is available now. It sucks that I had to write my own code, but I think in the long run that's better. And that AI system, actually I can unbolt it and then use it in whatever our next project's gonna be. And, and in the project after that, assuming we're still using Unity, I can, just bolt it on to things as we go. And that is something that I'm really, 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 really looking forward to. So anyway, I've let this go on way too long. I was only going to spend a couple of minutes doing this. But anyway, I just want to give a basic update to kind of what we're doing. Next time I do a video, it'll be something focused and specific. But these days I've just been so busy. I have so much stuff going on. And the goal of trying to reach the point where we can release a demo is going to be here before we know it. If we want to do it in December, then it's going to be here before we know it. And so I want to focus on getting that done, because I think that'll be good for the game, it'll be good for the people who follow us, and it'll be good for you, the viewer, who are interested in what we're doing. At least then people can take our game and run with it and see exactly what we're working on and how it works. I am actually quite excited about that. I think the combat's in a place that I like. The conversation was always in a good spot. It just had some UI bugs. And so, yeah, I think, are the players going to be able to appreciate what we've done? I don't know. But there will be a demo and you'll be able to try it for yourself. And so then you'll know. And I hope that people like it. And, we put a whole lot of work into it. But, with just one of us, one person working on this for the most part, yeah, it's been good. So anyway, I'm gonna end this here. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section below. I always read just to see what's down there. So yeah, just let me know. And also, please like, comment, subscribe, and ring the notification bell if you want to get updates as soon as these videos go live and you get notified. And so yeah, I want you guys to have a good weekend, and support your local minorities, not just black folks, Hispanics, Asians, gays, lesbians, transgender, and if people are struggling and it's hard. So if you can just take a moment just to help somebody out. I mean, even a comment like, "Hey man, good work, man," that goes a long way to getting people to feel comfortable and confident in what they're doing. So just give a shout out to somebody, help them out that way. Anyway, you guys have a good one, and peace out.